4.9, writing equations using point-slope form. All right, so in the past, we learned this formula, point-slope form. All right, let's recall a couple things that we know. We know that m is the slope, right? And we know that we get a point out of this formula of x1 and y1, right? So like y1 goes here, and also x1 goes here, and also don't forget, that's supposed to be a star, don't forget to change their signs. To change signs. Leave the slope alone. You don't change the sign for the slope, but because we have minus signs in here, that means use the opposite of what we have for the point. So how do we write an equation for this? Well, we just follow the pattern, right? So I have y minus y1, which is -1, equals m, so I'm using 2, parentheses, x minus, right guys, x minus, and then x1, which is 4, and there we go. Now, of course, we do want to simplify this. Like, I'm not going to leave it y minus -1. So really, this is y plus 1 equals 2 parentheses x minus 4. All right? This is kind of what I meant when I said don't forget to change the signs, right? Because my points, like I had a 4 for x, but I see a -4 when I look at the equation. Right? I had a -1 for y, but I see a +1 when I look at the equation. That's what these minus signs in the formula kind of do when I write that equation, all right? Let's look at the next one. One more example here. Find the equation of the line given the point and the slope, right? Same thing. So we've got y minus y1, so that's y minus 2. All right, this is going to be equal to m, which is 1/3, parentheses, x minus, right, the x minus, and then my x value, which is -3. All right, so my equation ends up being y minus 2 equals 1/3 x, and then of course we're not going to leave minus negative, we're going to say plus 3. All right, that's it, right? When you get a point and you get the slope, we just plug it into that formula. Let's look at the last one. What if they don't give us the slope? What if they just give us points? All right, well, if they just give us points, then we can find the slope. Right, guys? We can find the slope. What is the slope between these 2 points? Well, we can use our formula, right? We know m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which means we've got -1 minus 7 over 1 minus -3. Okay, well that's going to be -8 over 4, which is -2. So my slope is -2. Okay, well, how do I write my equation? Because I still don't know my y-intercept. Like normally we would write -2x plus that y-intercept, right? We can't do that right now because I don't know the y-intercept. What could we do? We know the slope. Here, you know what? We got a table here for us. Let's go ahead and fill these numbers in the table. -3, 7, 1, -1. Well, we could totally use this formula again, but if I'm being honest, I doubt that a lot of us are going to remember this formula for that much longer, right? It's not one we use a lot. So guess what? I don't even really have to do this. Y'all, I have a table. I made a table with my 2 points. What can I do? I would totally use what we learned yesterday. I would totally use stat edit. All right, let me remind you how stat edit works. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to go to stat edit, right? Stat edit. Now we type in our numbers. So I got -3 and I have +1 for my x's. On my y's, I've got +7 and I've got a -1. I only need 2 points. That's all I need. I can do an equation with these. So I got stat edit. Now I go back to stat. We're done editing. So click over to calc. And which one do we want? Option 4, right? LinReg. There we go. Don't forget you just want to go down to calculate. And I have my equation, right? That's it. We knew the slope was -2. That's what our calculator is also telling us. And we're getting y equals -2x plus 1. Okay? You don't have to write it in this specific way. We just needed an equation. All right, so we got our equation. We used our calculator to get it. Right? And that totally works. Now, could we have done that here? No, because we didn't have 2 points. You got to have 2 points if you want to get an equation from stat edits. All right, if you only have 1 point in the slope, well then point slope form is really not too bad to kind of figure out. All right, good luck.